Good evening. My name is Emily Pelkey, and I'm going to take you through a little bit of Beethoven's Second Sonata, focusing mostly on the Scherzo and Trio sections. So let's talk about the Scherzo first. Scherzo is related to the word scherzare in Italian, which means to joke or to jest, and similarly related to the verb batinerie in French, which means jesting. So you can assume, just from knowing the root of the word scherzo, that it's going to be a playful or a light feel in this section of the piece. So let's take a listen. So you can already start to tell that this movement is going to be light because the instrumentation is mostly strings, which are by nature a light sounding instrument, and like woodwinds. So like strings and woodwinds produce a very light sound, a light, playful sound, rather. So this scherzo is set up in what we call binary form. Bi meaning two, like bicycle, two wheels, bipedal, two legs. So we can assume that the scherzo has two sections. And for now we're going to call them the first reprise, or A, and the second reprise, or B. So each section has its own melodic theme, meaning material that's easily recognized as being this section. So what you just heard was the A section. And then we have our B section, which sounds like this. So the way binary form works, usually, not 100% of the time, but usually, we have our A section, which is here, right? And then it gets repeated. So A, repeat of A, and then we have our B, which is sometimes longer than our A section. And sometimes you'll hear our A section inside the B section. So when that happens, when you hear A within the B section, it's called rounded binary form. The way I like to think of rounded binary form is you cycle back from the A section to the A section, and there's B section in between. So it's a cycle or a circle, so it's round, and you just cycle back to A section through the B section. We've had a slight change of costume. Anyway, one of the qualifiers for a piece to be rounded, like we saw earlier, the original theme, the A theme, returns in the B section, but it also has to return in the original key, which it was, so this is a rounded piece. And if the A section didn't return, we would have simple binary form. So let's talk a little bit about the trio. I personally think that the trio is a little bit easier to tell between the A section and the B section. It's more of a stark contrast. It starts off with a string and oboe soli type thing, and it moves to the B section where the bass comes in. Like the cello's bass is the rest of the strings. So since there's a stark contrast between the A and B sections, it's going to be easier for us to tell whether or not the trio is rounded binary form. So let's take a listen. So as you can tell, there really is a big contrast between the A section and B section. That's really all you'll need to know about the form of Beethoven's Scherzo and Trio from Symphony No. 2.